Welcome to the Tuesday, November 18, 2025 Appoquinimink School Board meeting. The board went into executive session at 5:30 on motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Higgins, to discuss certain personnel and legal issues. We have now come out of executive session, and we will start this meeting, as we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I should also point out that board member Nichelle DeWitt was not feeling well, and she is joining us by Zoom, so she is present. Can you hear us, Nichelle?
Yes, good evening.
All right, thank you for being here. So with that, Dr. Burrows, are there any adjustments or changes to the agenda?
Just one that's noted, it's item 11I. There are no change orders this month for approval.
Okay. So with that, next we have a number of special recognitions, which are always, I think, the highlight of our meetings. And we will start with the middle school volleyball champions.
Good evening, everybody. It's nice to be back for our first awards for our middle school sports of the year. And we're going to start with our girls volleyball. And the fall of 2025 was the second year for our girls volleyball to compete in middle school. And tonight we are proud to recognize the team from Alfred G. Waters, who defeated Meredith 2-1 in a very exciting match to capture the 2025 District Middle School Girls Volleyball Championship. AGW also finished the regular season 7-0, and they are repeat champions as they were the 2024 champions also. So this time I'm going to introduce their coach, Jill Holdren, and she will introduce the players on her team.
Abigail Bench. Eva Cahill, who could not be with us tonight. Adeline Gervin. Rithvika Gadamakala. Mahika Hiremath. Kylie Imbriali. Harmony George, who could not be with us tonight. Peyton Kane. Caroline Kesner. Yashika Kapalakanda, who could not be with us tonight. Grace Overby. Janaya Pyatt. Everly Reyes, who could not be with us tonight. Kavya Selvaraj. Kanisha Sharma. Morgan Stewart, and Evangeline Syed.
All right, congratulations. Next for recognition, we have the middle school field hockey champions. Ms. Taylor.
Yep. All right. Yeah, so next up is field hockey. Again, tonight we are going to recognize Everett Meredith Middle School, who defeated Cantwell's Bridge 3-0 for the championship. Since field hockey has started, it has been Cantwell's Bridge versus Everett Meredith in the final every year, and they're kind of going back and forth, back and forth. So this is Meredith's second in the last 4 years. And Meredith also finished the season 8-0 undefeated. So congratulations. And I'm going to introduce their athletic director, Ms. Reiser, who will announce the coach and the players.
Liliana Correa. Gianna Draper. Aubrey Giles. Ariana Hall. Brinley Kelly. Ellie Clairline. Delaney Mann. Emmeline Miller. Keegan O'Neill. Evelyn Orndorff. Juliana Perucci. Keegan Peters. Peyton Rash. Lily Sapitin. Mandolin Scott. Rebecca Stephen. Kendall Talmadge. Colby Turner. Cameron Vaughn. Mia Washburn. Abella Ziccarelli. Jamie Dysett. Lorelai Hardy. Amari Poindexter. And I would like to end with our head coach, Coach Ryla Wilbur.
All right, we'll be back next month for cross country, but once again, we always want to thank the schools and the board and the district for their support of our growing and flourishing middle school athletics program. Thank you very much.
All right, I think just about everybody has gotten out, so we can continue with recognitions. Can somebody shut the doors to the hallway, maybe? All right. Next, for recognitions, we have the Muse Award, which is the Delaware Secondary Art Educator Award, and Ms. Sebastiano.
Good evening, everyone. I am Laura Sebastiano. I'm the Visual and Performing Arts Coordinator for the school district. And Delaware art, music, and theater teachers recently gathered for the annual State Arts Professional Development Conference. And at that conference, the Delaware Muse Awards were announced, and Dawn Hunter, art teacher at Middletown High School, was recognized with the secondary level Muse Award. And to be considered for a Muse Award, a teacher must exemplify the characteristics of being a masterful, unique, strong educator. I was told that for this year's awards, there was a significant number of applications, but Ms. Hunter's dedication, effort, and passion for art education really stood out among the applicants. I've seen firsthand the incredible work she does with her students, and I couldn't agree more with the committee's decision. Please help me recognize Dawn Hunter for this achievement.
All right, with that, we move on to the SLE Lighthouse Academic Honor Roll.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Boyd, and I'm the very proud principal of Silver Lake Elementary. I'm joined by Dr. Souther, my assistant principal, and Mrs. Amy Hoff, who is one of our teacher leaders at Silver Lake. This is our 15th year in our leadership journey, and our core values are that of community, leadership, and growth. Growth being our main focus now, so we're super excited to have really been able to move our students, make some additional progress, and then be recognized by Leader in Me. So special shout out to Mrs. Hoff for her work that she does with all of our student leaders. Mrs. K. Hall is our coordinator. She was unable to be here tonight, and then Mrs. Widows also partners with Mrs. Hoff. So it's absolutely a collaborative effort. And then last but not least, Mrs. Cindy Clay was supposed to be here tonight, and we were going to brag about her because she's the reason that we started the journey in Leader Me to begin with. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's the second year in a row, right? It is. Congratulations.
All right, next on the agenda for recognition, we have the NASN publication. Ms. Carnac.
Good evening. My name is Yvonne Kamak. I'm lead nurse and coordinator of health services for the district. The month of November is Diabetes Awareness Month, and I'd like to recognize one of our outstanding nurses, Amy Hastings. Amy serves as our district float nurse and diabetes resource nurse. She uses her professional expertise along with her personal experience as a parent of a type 1 diabetic to serve and support our school nurses, the students, and the families throughout our district and throughout the state. Amy has founded Beats for Diabetes, which has raised over $25,000 to send student athletes to diabetes camp each year. Also, she partnered with the Lions Club to ensure a grant that educates all of our school staff throughout every public school in the state of Delaware to raise diabetes awareness. But most recently, and the reason for our special recognition tonight, is her manuscript titled Empowering School Nurses in Delaware, a collaborative approach to improving diabetes management in our schools, was accepted for publication in the National Association of School Nurse Journal. So congratulations, Amy, and thank you for everything you do for our students.
All right, and the last of our recognitions for tonight is Beatsmaker, Dr. Small.
Good evening, everyone. The Apple Beatsmaker Award. Our Beatsmaker Award celebrates staff who are nominated for exhibiting our Apple Beats: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and engagement. Tonight, we are excited to celebrate 3 staff members and thank them for being Apple Beats makers. A technology associate nominated by the SLE, Silver Lake Elementary Support Team, for collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, and engagement. Please help me in celebrating James Skinner.
Sorry, I would love to brag on Mr. Skinner. We already mentioned that one of our core values is community, and what I love most about our school is how much our staff and all the adults wrap around our kiddos. So one day, Mr. Skinner was in our building, and they were calling me from the office saying he needs to see you. So I thought we broke something in the world of technology. So I came and I found him, and he said, I just needed to let you know on my way in, there was a student outside struggling with a bike. I went and I got tools from the custodial office, and I tried to repair it. But I want to point out the bike to you just in case it doesn't hold up, because then I want to buy him one. And it was just so moving. That wasn't why he was there, but it just speaks to how amazing of a person he is, and we felt it was worthy of sharing. So thank you.
All right, second up, a teacher that was nominated by Amy Hastings. Amy, I see what you did there. You were here for 2 purposes tonight. For collaboration and communication, Erin McFadden. Erin McFadden, my apologies. And last but certainly not least, a custodian nominated by Lynn Streets for creativity and engagement, Alex Port.
So Appo High School affectionately calls Mr. Port Mr. Alex. And the reason he was nominated is because every student in the school knows Mr. Alex. Last year at graduation, the line got held up because so many kids wanted to hug him in the graduation line. And this year he asked if he could please go to prom and he'd buy a ticket. I said, you'll be a better chaperone than most of the chaperones there. Please come, we will certainly pay for your ticket. But he is an integral member of AHS, and we're so happy to celebrate him with this award.
right. By the way, for these recognitions, I think the best thing you can ever see is all the parents struggling to take pictures of their kids when their kids are in front of that white thing. It's really neat to see that. Reports, item 7 on the agenda. We start with the superintendent's report. Dr. Burrows.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone joining us tonight. I'm going to start off by saying we're quickly in the second, or actually the third month of school, heading towards our Thanksgiving break. Big event coming up on Thursday where we have our turkey lunch for everyone, Thanksgiving lunch for everyone. I will be serving lunch this year at Silver Lake Elementary School, so looking forward to that. But all the elementary schools and all schools are serving, so please make sure that you have an opportunity to go with your kid to lunch. November 3rd through the 7th is National School Psychology Week. The 18th is National Education Support Professional Day. And the 21st, and this is every day, is Substitute Appreciation Day. And I'll put a plug in for substitutes. If you are interested in being a substitute, please make sure that you sign up. I think Mr. Banks is here somewhere in the back there. Please see him. More than glad to have you come as a substitute. Currently, we have 25 full-time teaching openings. That's the lowest it's been in the last 5 years. So we appreciate the work of our HR team, our recruiting team, and all of our teachers who are recruiters themselves. And we're down to 6 full-time paraprofessional openings at this point. We're currently up from our September 30th count, 139 students. At this point, we're 13,097 students. We are officially, at this point, the second largest school district in the state. And at this time, I'm going to transition. Last month, we did a board workshop we took the recommendations that came from the auditors and also from the subject matter experts that came in. We took the recommendations and we talked about how we were implementing that recommendation. We had a request at that workshop if we could give like a timeline on some of these or if we were doing them. I'm not going to go through all 35 slides tonight. I'm going to do the first section of this, and then next meeting I'll get into the next 8, and then the third meeting I'll do the next 8, if that's okay. So I'll start off, next slide, Steve. Recommendation 1, the district should establish better internal controls within the finance office and implement clear approval policies for financial documents, ensuring both the superintendent's involvement and the CFO's oversight is documented. So Appoquinimink School District has implemented an internal policy that all expenditures must be approved by the Director of Finance. This change is being reviewed and updated to implement processes to ensure that the Director of Finance is aware of all the financial requests that flow in and out of the district. The Director of Finance meets with the Superintendent weekly to provide all financial updates accordingly. And the timeline of this is already happening and is in place. Recommendation 2, training should be held with the school secretaries who manage financial and payroll functions to improve communication and consistency. And I'm sorry, feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. All updates and changes that have been made so far have been communicated with all finance secretaries. The finance department plans to meet with all finance secretaries on November 10th, which has happened, to discuss the changes and provide an opportunity to ask questions and or voice concerns. The finance department plans to implement this time going forward until all financial processes have been reviewed and accounted for. Once completed, the Director of Finance plans to hold finance trainings to provide the information necessary to ensure best financial processes are implemented. As stated, the training occurred on November 10th, and this training is ongoing. Recommendation 3, a preparation and review process should be implemented for budgets and monthly revenue and expenditure reports, with the FAC, that's our Financial Advisory Committee, receiving full documentation for meaningful discussion. The Director of Finance is working with the Superintendent and the Financial Advisory Committee to revamp and define the role of the Appoquinimink School District Financial Advisory Committee. State policy is being reviewed and discussions are taking place to develop a path that is feasible for the Financial Advisory Committee to be effective and confident in the role that the committee plays for the Appoquinimink School District. The FAC currently receives all documents necessary to review the overall finances of the district. The Director of Finance is working on creating a document that is a complete review of the revenue and expenditures of the Appoquinimink School District that can be posted on the Appoquinimink School District website for everyone to review. So some timeline on that. At our November meeting, the Financial Advisory Committee did elect Board Member Norm Abrams to serve as co-chair. Mike Jackson is serving as chair. Minutes and agenda are being posted on the website and board docs and will continue to be on a monthly basis. It was brought to my attention tonight that these weren't seen on board docs. I know the team is working. Okay, so they're up and are viewable on board docs. Recommendation 4, Financial Advisory Committee meetings should be documented to confirm approval of the CFO's presentations, and the board should be kept informed through the FAC board representative. Each meeting and agenda for the FAC is provided to all committee to review, and the necessary documents are attached as well. Meeting minutes are taken by the finance analyst, and the minutes are approved by the Financial Advisory Committee. Once approved, the minutes are signed off by the chair, the co-chair, the director of finance, and the finance analyst. All documents are available to the public on board docs and the district website. This is already happening. Documents can be found on the district website and board docs. Recommendation 5, the district should provide training for the board members, the superintendent, staff, and volunteers to strengthen financial knowledge. This recommendation will take time to implement and complete. The Director of Finance has time on the agenda meetings with cabinet, principals, secretaries to communicate information and provide the training. Other notable dates, this was from that meeting. Tonight's board training session, which happened on Tuesday, October 28th. The Director of Finance has also held finance courses with cabinet on Monday, October 27th to provide training. In addition, training is being held monthly with FAC through monthly meetings. This is ongoing and will continue to take place. The exact dates are included above on trainings that already happened. We're also working on setting a date for another board training in the near future. Recommendation 6, the district should present all financial and budget reports in a clear and easily understandable format. The Director of Finance has provided a document to the superintendent to review that would be the starting point of presenting the revenues and expenditures in a more clear and concise way. This is currently being vetted. The Director of Finance will present proposed formatting at the December Financial Advisory Committee for implementation to begin at the January 2026 board meeting and all future meetings. Recommendation 1 for the financial reporting. The district should continue working with the DOE's financial recovery team and school finance experts to ensure program and physical stability for FY 26 and 27. The Director of Finance communicates with the State of Delaware and the Department of Education to ensure financial certainty at Appoquinimink School District. Currently, this includes monthly reports to DOE. The Director of Finance continues to work with Dr. Chuck Longfellow, former CFO from ASD, to gain insight, mentorship, and direction to ensure that the Director of Finance is making sound decisions, ensure the stability of the Appoquinimink School District finances. This is taking place and remains ongoing. Recommendation 2, a standardized format for budget reporting should be adopted, whether mandated by the DOE, developed at the district level, or modeled after similar-sized districts. Budget accuracies can be improved by comparing prior year actuals from the state's accounting system with budgeted amounts, and by requiring the budget reports be prepared by staff, reviewed by the CFO, and vetted with the Financial Advisory Committee before board presentations. Currently, the district utilizes Data Service Center to review expenditure information. The Director of Finance is in the process of implementing a financial budget system called AlloView that will address this recommendation. It is currently being vetted through IT to ensure compatibility with the Appoquinimink School District current network and systems, along with the state systems. We're looking at tentative implementation on this for December 1st through June 30th, pending approval from the state IT department. Recommendation 3, reports should be presented to Appoquinimink Board of Education earlier in the budget cycle ideally in November or December after the final unit count instead of waiting until February. The Director of Finance will work with the Superintendent on a process to address this recommendation. We will update this once we have a complete transition to our new Director of Finance. The preliminary budget will be available in July of 2026 for FY27. In December, a draft of the final budget will be presented for our FY27 budget. Recommendation 4, policies should be adopted to define how reports are compiled, the sources of information used, reconciliation to FSF, that's First State Financial System, and the FAC's review role. The Director of Finance is working with the Superintendent to address this recommendation. Currently, the Director of Finance explains in detail the reports provided to the FAC and the Board so that understanding is gained. In December of 2025, we will begin the process of updating policies, and this effort will continue in the future. Procedures will also be defined. The review of the FAC's role is complete. Recommendation 5, to improve transparency, additional reports grouping operating units by funding source should be required, either by the Department of Education or the district, to ensure tax revenues properly align with expenses. This recommendation is being implemented in the fiscal year 2026. You'll see tonight in our report, there's a preliminary amended budget that will show this. The Director of Finance plans to implement a zero-based budget model for fiscal year 2027 that will provide more clarity and transparency concerning the budget for Appoquinimink School District. This is taking place with our separation of state funds from our local discretionary funds and federal funds in the current budget. Recommendation 6, the DOE should work with FSF developers to add automated reporting features to reduce reliance on manual entry, which is inefficient and prone to error. The state of Delaware is currently looking into updating their system. Unfortunately, ASD is bound by the state system's functions to execute our process. The Director of Finance is looking to implement a new budget model system called AlView that will assist in resolving this issue. I will say that we're kind of at the behest of the state that we have to use their system. I think I explained this at previous meetings that First State Financial System is an accounting system that's meant for the whole state. It's not meant for education, but it's adapted into education models. So that's where this gets into this recommendation of DOE working with the FSF developers. We're working at the state level is ongoing. They're actually going out to bid on a new vendor for this, but I'm not sure if it'll be any better for schools. But we're looking at our own model. We continue to work with IT to implement AlView. Recommendation 7, the district should approve the accuracy of their financial position reporting by requiring the fiscal officers and the FAC to review information before board submission, developing policies to define local expenses and projections tied to the approval budget, and ensuring all board-approved reports are submitted to the Department of Education on time with documented reasons for any changes as required by Delaware Code. The Director of Finance is currently working with the state to provide this report by the 15th of every month until the state says otherwise. The finance analyst will review, when available, the aspects of the report to ensure accuracy. This is already taking place and is ongoing until otherwise noted.
All right, that's it for tonight.
Unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Burrows? All right, anything further for your report?
No, I just thank you. I know we're in a stretch run here as we get to Thanksgiving break. I know there's a lot of excitement in the buildings. I just thank the teachers, the educators, the bus drivers, our school custodians, and everyone that's involved in the schools. We just thank you for all their support, and we thank you, and hopefully you have a grateful and great Thanksgiving. And we'll continue this as part of this as we look to rebuild trust. Be reporting out on our finances, and I'll be reporting out and giving a piece of this each month. So thank you.
Okay, with that, we will move to the fiscal year 26 amended preliminary budget. Ms. Stewart.
Good evening, board members. We are going to go over the fiscal year 2026 amended preliminary budget. We're just bringing this to your attention for review. We were late in providing this information to the Finance Advisory Committee at our past meeting, and we wanted to allow them the time to really dive in and dig in, but we think that it is very worth it with bringing it to the board so that you all, if you have any questions, we can take that back, and then I can work with Dr. Chuck to do that. I will say I want to give Dr. Chuck a shout out. Dr. Chuck has been a great help to me in organizing the fiscal 2026 amended preliminary budget. And so he is with us tonight. His expertise and his knowledge is definitely, has been very helpful. And so I definitely appreciate him and thank him and just want everyone to know that. So Dr. Chuck, you can take it away.
Can I just give a caveat real quick too with the budget? So I don't know if paying attention, just with the court case being settled last Tuesday, that we were legally allowed to differentiate the tax rate. Tax bills won't be going out. Well, I guess the 18th through the 20th, tax bills are supposed to start to hit homes with the differentiated tax rate. Today's 18th? Yep, today. In between the 18th and 20th. Tax bills are due on December 31st. Just to give a little bit of perspective on that, usually by September 30th, so the middle of October, September 30th, we received the majority of our tax receipts in. We were projected at our October collection to have about 77 million. We had about 13 million at that time. So currently, we're waiting on those tax receipts to come in. So there wasn't any money to upload into budgets at this point. So the delay with the preliminary amended budget kind of aligns with us getting our revenues in, which are projected to come in the middle of January. So I just wanted to make that note on the budget side of things. Sorry to interrupt, Chuck.
Oh, we're good. Can you see the Excel screen that has the preliminary budget?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. This is a report rather than an item for approval because, as Ms. Stewart said, we didn't really give the Financial Advisory Committee enough time to look at this because it was so many moving parts here. We were building it up until a couple of days before their meeting. And so they thought very wisely that we could punt this to December for approval. And that makes sense anyway, because as Dr. Burrows said, the tax revenue is coming more slowly than usual. Usually we'll get the bulk of the revenue in October. This year we're going to get some more in December, but we think that we should have the bulk of it by January, as long as everything goes well. Some changes since last time. You'll see a note here that we have changed some of the revenue projections based on the unit count. We had originally put the 0.19% increase based on the guaranteed unit count, but we changed it to the actual 2.7 or 2.57% increase for the real unit count, which is good because so many funds do follow after the unit count. So some of those places where changes have been made, you will see some red notes here, and there are some other revenues that have come in. For example, a school improvement grant for Reading Middle School of $103,000. And there's some places where corrections were made too that we have seen along the way. For example, some of the minor capital items. So going into the orange here, well, first I'll go to the last blue tab, carryover. Carryover, this is really the essence of this budget document, this version of it. I know that in the past, you've gotten budget books with a lot more information, and I know that Ms. Stewart also wants to build back toward giving you a budget book with more things like detail on our enrollment and choice and charter enrollment and things like that. And those reports, if that's stuff that you need, I'm sure you can get that from Dr. Burrows upon request. But this right here, this is kind of the bottom line up front. We have, in accordance with the financial reporting recommendation number 5, we have peeled away discretionary state and local funds, from non-discretionary, from tuition fund, from federal, from capital, from cafeteria. And I'll show you some more of that in just a few minutes. But here, this shows our carryover into this year of discretionary state and local, what our projected revenue is per this budget document, our projected expenditures per this budget document, with an updated projected discretionary operating fund carryover for into next year of 4.8 million, based on what we know at this point. Tuition fund, same thing, carryover into this year. Projected revenue, including an offset to revenue for the Christina bill that we still owed coming into this fiscal year, the 1.537 million. Projected tuition fund expenditures. It's a real hard number to nail down, but I know that as we get into our zero-based budgeting process in the future, we want to break that down into finer categories. And our projected tuition fund carryover, 739,000. We hope it's more, but this is of conservative on revenue and conservative on expenditures, so that we have this projection here. This is the essence of this, and I think that probably going forward as a board, this is the information that you should absolutely be looking for and tracing back through these budget documents. Where are we now, and where are
Chuck,
we going to be at the end of the
before we
year?
move
Yes.
off this slide, though, that you just
Go ahead.
put up, first off, I think if you go back, we always, at every board meeting, ask what's the projected carryover for the end of the year. So this is showing for the general operating funds, a $4.8 million carryover. That's the one where we have to have the 2 payroll minimum, and 4.8 is more than we're going to need, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So assuming that we meet budget, then we will be in compliance with the state requirement. The tuition fund carryover, as I understand it, but correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a required state carryover for that, but it's good practice for us to do that. And this shows us with a $700,000 carryover.
Yes. Now, we recommend that you have, well over 4 million in carryover. This is not enough money to really cover the salaries that happen at the beginning of the year. You end up borrowing from other places in order to cover that. That's not the best way to be. But you're right, there is no required carryover. But over the next few years, we need to build up a carryover in the tuition fund.
Right. And again, just so I'm clear, I know there was a $1.5 million bill that was owed to Christina that's getting paid. So this does not have us having to make any additional payments going into the next fiscal year, correct?
That's right. That's right. When we set the rate, we built in this paying off this bill. So we would cover 2 Christina bills this year, the last year and the current year bill.
So then in theory, assuming that our special ed expenditures for students remains the same, it's theory now, hypothetical, then our expenditures for next year would be $1.5 million less because we're not going to have that carryover invoice, correct?
Well, yes, in essence. So the way that we report our transfers to other districts for special programs and to charter schools is an offset to revenue. So our revenue would end up being 1.5 million more.
Okay,
But,
6 of 1.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep. The assumption though is that's a really nice assumption to have, but it hasn't been realistic over so many years
Oh,
that,
no,
the costs are the same. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, we've talked about that, but I just wanted to point out that this year's expenditures or this year's starting revenue is artificially high because we had that one carryover that's getting paid this year rather than last year. But once that gets out of the way, we should, going into the next fiscal year, have expenditures that are lower, at least in that regard. They may go up for other reasons, but we'll have extra cushion next year is my point.
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
And that's by design.
right.
So, all right. So, the orange parts are how we built our amended preliminary expenditure budget. So the first one is the detailed crosswalk here. This one here, it's a pretty complex sheet, but we wanted to make sure you had it so you could see how we got where we are now. I'm going to scroll to the top here. We have, you'll notice in row 5, we've carved these things out in funds. And if you look in column I, you'll see a letter that denotes the fund type. D is discretionary state and local. N is non-discretionary state and local. T is tuition. F federal. C is capital debt service or major minor cap. L is cafeteria. Well, cafeteria, C and N were taken already, so we did it L for lunch. That's why cafeteria got that. But we took all of the operating units and program codes combinations that the board approved in their fiscal year, in the last budget that the board approved in fiscal year 25. We took those numbers and we put them all in here. We took a look at the actual expenditure as of June 30, 2025. In some cases, there's expenditure afterwards. That's just the nature of, especially some of these multi-year funds. That's how it goes. But we did this to make sure that we are, especially for the discretionary funds, budgeting enough based on reality. A budget is a plan. There's really no money in a budget. It's just a plan. But this actual expenditure is actual money spent. Column F is where we landed on the preliminary budget for amended preliminary budget for fiscal year 26. G is the difference between fiscal year 26 preliminary and the board approved, not the actual expenditures, but the board approved. And then this one here, H, is preliminary compared to the actual expenditures, just so you can see where that landed. Here in J, we put the appropriations that are by far most likely to be found in these operating unit and program code combinations. And that's for you to trace back, or our public to trace back, our staff to trace back, because one of the things we need to do every year is check all of these to make sure that we're not finding appropriations being used in operating unit and program code combos that really that shouldn't be there. We did find a lot of errors in fiscal year 25. And so having a guide like this will help us to keep things cleaner. K, L, and M. K is what was it used for in fiscal year 2025? And there's an explanation for every single line. For some of these that are new lines for 2026, you'll just see that we noted that it's new for 26. 26, this is our intended use for this year. And then how the budget is determined are kind of breadcrumbs to let you know how we calculated what's in this line. And as you go down, you'll see at first it's kind of boring. They're the school accounts, and a lot of those are formulaic. But as you go down, you'll see more detailed sources like the consolidated grant application, some numbers that describe our calculations, some reference to the tax warrant, and so forth. So this is kind of our worksheet to build the expenditure budget. The next tab is a cleaner copy. These are only the operating unit and program code combinations that are being budgeted to in fiscal year 26 to date. There will be some added as time goes on. Sometimes our grants are distributed to schools, and at first we'll just have one concentrated allocation, and then once we know how much goes in each school, we'll spread that out. But all funds, all total this year, Appoquinimink has a $322.4 million budget. But this is all funds. So here's just the cleaner version of what you saw, the outcome of it. Next, we have the expenditures by fund and operating unit. So we have each of our fund types.
Chuck,
Go ahead. Yes.
go back to the budget a second, the total number. The 322. So that's everything. That's capital, that's tuition, that's operating. That's everything we're spending all in one number, correct?
That's everything that has a fiscal year 26 tag on it. The asterisk on this, yeah, go ahead.
I thought part of what I'll say the reforms that we were going to be working on, and it shouldn't be that hard given that there's codes, but I mean, are we going to get a budget for the operating expenses to compare to last year's operating budget? Because capital can really skew things. I mean, if we're spending a lot, we're about to spend a lot of money on schools, and suddenly our
That's
budget
right.
looks like it goes way up, but that's only because of the capital portion of it. The critical comparison is just operating expenses year to year, at least in my mind. So
Correct.
are we going to
Correct.
get
So
that?
yes,
Okay.
that's the next tab. The only real
Okay.
purpose for this number is, wow, look how big our budget is total, all funds. That's about it. It really doesn't have a function to say whether we're over, under, anything like that. That's the only thing there. It's just a wow, look at us factor.
Right.
This next tab here, yes, go ahead.
And the bulk of that number is coming from the state. I mean, it's not our local fund. So like on the capital
Correct.
and even on operating, I mean, the state's paying a significant portion of that. But okay, I just want to make sure we were going to get an operating only budget.
Yes, and I'll show you that in this tab here, but I'll go back to the top of this clean copy. The thing that we did in following that recommendation is each operating unit should only be one fund. So all of the schools are discretionary, Fund D. Extra time was pulled out of there. It is a non-discretionary. It's a match tax. Professional development was pulled out. Professional development, that's an N. It's non-discretionary. We do have discretionary technology funds, these 3 lines here, but in order to pull out the state tech block grant and some other things, we had to light up let me see, we're down here, another tech operating unit, which is the non-discretionary. So what we've done is we've made it so that every operating unit is only a member of one fund. We're not mixing up funds within an operating unit. And so when I go back to this tab, we're able to map operating units to a fund and show this is major and minor cap here. This is discretionary state and local. Now there's a lot of operating units here, but every single one of these should be. And again, if anybody sees anything that doesn't make sense or you question, like, wait a minute, you've got a federal somewhere here, let us know. Well, we've taken a look, but we can miss things. So our discretionary state and local is 76,926,625 budgeted for expenditure. This is the 76. I'm going to make sure this matches up. 7692625 is this 7692625 that we have here. This is our carryover. This projected state and local discretionary revenue maps back to discretionary revenue, state and local revenue here, 78611,661. And so carryover plus revenue minus expenditure is new carryover. Back in the funds here, F federal, again, there's no real reason to have a federal funds balance other than, hey, look how much we rely on the federal government, $5.4 million. Cafeteria is its own animal, only one operating unit. Non-discretionary, this is another one that really there's no real reason to say, well, how many non-discretionary funds do we have? Are we carrying over? Because all of these are, you get them and you try to spend them all out. That's how that one works. Tuition is another one that we have to keep our eye on. And it's got only one operating unit. That's the 9997020. So this is how we separated all of that out. And we've actualized the one recommendation there. So
And
any
Chuck,
questions at this point? Go ahead.
Does the 4.8 million carryover, can that only be from discretionary or can it include non-discretionary?
It's only the discretionary state and local funds. Mhm.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And so it should match up with what you see in the financial position reports. So as we get closer to the end of the year, these numbers will converge. Is this going to be the actual number? Of course not. I mean, we hope. We don't know. Well, I think we will bring in more than what we've projected. And part of that is because some of the tax bills that went out and people paid, and then their residential amounts were lowered, they may not get a refund. They might just let it sit on account and be used for next year. So we're going to have to make sure we get with the county and ask them toward the end of the year how much of what you gave us this year is actually for next year, and we'll have to account for that. And then we always we might budget 76.9 million to be spent, but not everybody spends all of their budgets. We hopefully we don't bust budgets, like we saw with energy going on. Energy costs can always increase. We try to we try to predict what that's going to be, but it's hard to tell sometimes. But there are a lot of budget lines in here, and usually there's some dollars left over in these. And so, if this is more, if the 78.6 is more because we're getting some advance from fiscal year 27, and if the 26 or 76.9 is less because we're not spending all of our lines, then the 4.8, would be higher. So that's what we hope for.
Yeah, the other thing, Chuck, too, that obviously we never try to estimate, and it's just found money, but didn't happen last year, was there should be supplemental assessments coming in as well for properties that get COs after the start of the fiscal year.
Yes, historically that happens, but it's one of those things that you don't count before it hatches. So we don't build that into the budget. Yes.
Right. So for example, First Watch is supposed to can't open soon enough for my money, but it's going to open at some point in the next couple months. And then once they open, they'll get a tax bill for the rest of the year. And so that'll be $20,000, $30,000 that comes to us. Any stores now, any houses that get constructed now during the fiscal year will owe us a prorated share, and it'll go into this budget, but we just have no way of estimating what those numbers will be. So we never try to put it in the budget.
Correct. So, go ahead.
Real quick,
Pending
Chuck,
any other question? Oh, go ahead. Who's that?
Yeah, speaking of projected revenue, where do we look, considering the delay in the receipt of revenue, to having to take the loan that the state is offering us to reach that gap? Do we look like we might need to do that, or do we look okay?
That's probably more of an Elisa and Matt question. I know that they've been looking at that. So far, we haven't had to. I know there was some talk about perhaps invoking that to pay our charter bills, our preliminary charter bills. I don't know where they stand on that, but as far as I know, I don't think we've done that yet. But that's more of a question for Matt and Elisa.
We can get to that later when we do the other part of the financials, unless you have an answer.
Yeah, I have an answer. So depending on when we start collecting our tax receipts, like supposedly that it went out to mortgage companies today, and if they process, because they've been sitting on the escrow, they've been holding it since September 30th. If they release it, we're in good shape. We're in good shape till the end of November if they don't release it. And we would have to take the interest-free loan that's offered by the state. If they don't release the funds are held up in escrow right now. We will have to take out the interest-free loan to pay our first portion of the charter school bill. Because they're the same as us. They haven't received.
They need our money to.
Right. They need revenue, so we will have to do that for the first part. And I'll note that we're not the only district that's having.
No, it's understandable. I know that we were kind of trying not to, but then with the charter school bill, they have to keep their lights on as well. So we need to give them our share of what we collect.
Correct.
Or should collect, actually.
Yes.
Right. But part of what we lost because of the delay, if we had collected, we were supposed to collect like 55 million in operating expenses as part of the property tax. And if that money had come in, the bulk of it in October, and we didn't have to spend it yet, we'd at least be getting interest for a couple months on that money. So I mean, there's been some costs associated with this delay and lost interest. Again, not something we build into the budget, but something we're not going to get this year because of the way the payments were delayed. I'm sorry, Chuck, we interrupted you. Is there anything more?
No, that's great. And that is a great point. The interest, not getting the interest. One thing we did do is in our revenue estimates, we budgeted for receiving 1/3 of the prior year actual interest. Part of that is because of a lower carryover, and part of that is this uncertainty on when we're going to receive funds. So if there are any more questions or comments, I'll take them now. And if not, as you look through this, if you send them through Elisa and Matt, if they need me to help respond, then I'm here to support them.
Any other questions from the board for Dr. Longfellow? Any questions for Ms. Stewart?
I'll send them by email. It's just
Okay.
about the contingency reserves.
All right, well, Chuck, we continue to appreciate your assistance and help on this, and look forward to additional communications and working with you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the construction update. Mr. Hopkins.
All right, still back at Reading. As you can see from here, the school's completed. You know, we brought out all the grass. Right now, the new parking lot that's connecting up from behind the gym is complete. They're going to start paving that tomorrow. So we'll start to get all the paving down here for the base coat in the first place, and then we'll come back with the finish coat. The tennis court here has actually been paved, and you'll see that in other photos, as well as the work around the courtyard for the outdoor classroom. This is going to be the new athletic field here. Once we get all graded off, we're going to lay some dormant sod so it'll pick up and grow real quick in the spring so we can end up playing on it next year, hopefully. Go ahead, Steve. This is kind of the outdoor classroom now. As you're looking out of the back of the school, you can see the courtyard's all done with the concrete and with the pavers. This is the outdoor classroom itself. What you can't see here, right in the middle of that, right there is the old Reading sign that Lewis Reading stood next to in the picture. That's embedded in the concrete here, and you'll see in another slide where the old plaque is going to be mounted. Go ahead, Steve. This is the parking lot, all the curbs done, and then the paving will start tomorrow, and then we're going to start final grading out this way. Go ahead, Steve. There's a look at the courtyard coming up. We have the wall here. Here's the old date stone that's in the wall, and there'll be more graphics and signs that come up as we go along here. That's a look coming back towards the school. This is the sign that was out front here, and this is where the plaque will be mounted. We'll have some plantings going in and around to kind of decorate the area. There's the tennis courts. The stripes aren't on yet, but that's coming next. After it gets done, we get some of the grading out of here. We'll go ahead and stripe it up, and that's going to be ready to go. There'll be a fence that goes around the whole thing.
Is that tennis or basketball?
Excuse me, basketball. I've said tennis about 10 times on this thing. But that is actually a basketball net. And if we could do a tennis net in there probably, but multitask. Go ahead. Here's a better look at the courtyard coming up. You can see it's all nice pavers here. This is all the original brick. All this brick around here came off of the building, as well as what the outdoor classroom is made of. It's all the original bricks we peeled from the front of the building, side of the building all over. This is moving off the Summit campus here.
Before we move to Summit, I just
Sure.
want to again, because I don't think we have given enough credit to Buck Simpers and his team. They were the ones who came, originally the plan was we would tear down Lewis Reading and those kids would come over and be in other schools while the new school got built where Lewis Reading was. And his team is the one that came up with the idea of building the new school on the site while having the old school still up and running. Saved us a boatload of money and made a lot of sense. And I just wanted to, again, thank them for coming up with that idea. It really has worked out, I think, very well for us.
It worked out very well. And I tell you, Whiting and Turner deserves a lot of credit too, because that was a really tight dance of making all that happen and keeping the kids safe and everything happening. Whiting and Turner did it seamlessly. We had no complaints. Community didn't complain. We didn't have any problems. So it went very well. So they deserve a.
I'd like to add, I did get to visit last week
Okay.
That wasn't there when we did the ribbon cutting. That is amazing. That outside courtyard, the tribute to the old school, when spring hits, those kids are going to be so excited to go out there and learn and just be part of the environment. And it's just a great piece. You guys really did a great job on that. That is so neat to look at. It's just amazing.
And what's coming is going to be more artwork and there's all kinds of graphics and things that talk the whole story of Reading and its history. So when the alumni comes out to help us open the outdoor classroom, that's all going to be in place and their stories are going to be there to be told so they can walk through and see it. So it's going to be a neat thing. All right, now we're off the summit. Now we're getting ready to start here. We're going to start with some just erosion protections on Monday. You're going to have a contract to approve to get that started here later in the meeting. But this is where it's all going to start. You're going to start coming out, getting your high school and your fields and your grading all done in this area here. It looks small, but when you get out there, it's a pretty big area. And that's kind of where we're headed. This is going to be the middle school. You have the elementary, it's there now, middle, high. And this is our field house back in the back. The tennis courts are over there. But that's where we're headed. And it's going to start up Monday.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hopkins? All right, Keith, thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have board comments. And why don't we start with Mr. Abrams?
Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank everybody who's working behind the scenes for the benefit of the district. As Mr. Forson previously noted, as being on the building committee when the plans came down for Reading and the concept provided by the architects, the vision that was presented in that meeting is becoming reality. So they actually did hit a home run. So I just want to thank everybody from construction to planning to the people doing the work. Has been done a fantastic job. Also want to thank both groups of individuals that recently worked on the audits performed on our district finances. The report sections indicating the past, the present, and the future path forward with recommendations. So I'll let them know that we've taken them, and Dr. Burrows and his team and Ms. Stewart are working on them to implement them. The Appoquinimink Financial Advisory Committee met earlier this month. Again, the discussion was extremely robust, thorough. Many topics were discussed on moving the path forward. The discussions did include reports, the types of reports we get, the analysis that we see, basically the gist of what are we getting, what are we not getting, and what do we need to move forward. Minutes were taken, as Dr. Burrows mentioned. Mike Jackson was nominated to be chair. I myself became co-chair. And providing a monthly report each month will happen moving forward by myself or Mr. Jackson. As I mentioned last month to our board members, please take a look at the policy surrounding the Financial Advisory Committee. Also take a look at the reports you're getting, what you're not getting, what you want to see moving forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Abrams. Ms. DeWitt, are you still with us and able to comment?
Yes, I am still here. Let me turn on my camera. Can you see me? Okay. Hello, everyone. As a board member, I am deeply grateful and my heart is full for all the recognitions that were shared tonight and throughout the year. So many positive things are happening across our district, and it's really a direct reflection to our commitment and your commitment to our students. So thank you for doing consistently what is best for our students. I also want to say I appreciate our staff and just the entire Apple community for just continuing to support the district and showing that everyone matters and that we will get through this this season. I want to express my appreciation for James Skinner as well. For my first day in this role, whenever he looks at me, I know he's checking in on me, and that kind of support truly means a great deal to me. I also like to give a big shout out to our middle school competitive athletic program for creating meaningful and engaging experiences for our students. I know this week and last week at Cantwell Bridge Middle, Mr. Chavis and his team organized a 2-day tryout program with an impressive turnout The middle school sports initiative, I think, was originally implemented by Dr. Shar, who was on the board prior to me joining in 2022. And just to see it grow and the positive impact for students is just overwhelming. If I am incorrect in the implementation, someone can correct me. Additionally, I want to thank Dr. Chuck, Steve, and Ms. Stewart for their hard work and partnership in helping us build a clearer and stronger financial picture as we look to work through this current budget deficit. Their dedication to this process is invaluable. That presentation that we just reviewed, I mean, I learn something every time I hear them provide information. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, I want to just wish all of our families many blessings as we take time to pause, reflect, and be grateful this month. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. DeWitt. We look forward to seeing you at next month's meeting. Next up, we have Mr. Higgins.
Good evening and thank you. I have just a few things I wanted to touch on. Notice going through personnel over the last few months, it seems like we have a lot of turnover in our para positions. I looked, it seemed to be like 70% of our resignations, and almost this last month, about 90% of our terminations are in the para specifically position. I just wanted to see if informally or formally we could get some kind of a committee together to look at root causes. I'm sure there's complex problems that we can all get together and try to solve as a group, as a community, as I believe they do deserve, and the full resources to get to the solution. I'm offering my help, my personal time. Anybody want to meet, whatever is proper, I'd love to do that. If I hear nothing, I will keep on asking until we could see that problem at least addressed with everybody and find some common solutions so we can try to help a lot of the kids that really need more help than most kids in our school district. I did visit Dr. Burrows, took some time out, and I visited some of our schools last week. It was great. I want to thank the teachers and the students for allowing me to be there and giving their time. The highlight of my day was I went to Reading and I was sorted, and Isbini picked me, which I was honored. Their symbols are the lion and also the muted swan, because they stand for courage, but also quiet confidence. So shout out to my house members, Bini Bini Hoo Ha, and family means everything. So also in that, just remind everybody, tomorrow is Bagels with board members with me at Manhattan Bagel at 8:30 in the morning. Love to see you, and everybody have a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all of our teachers, all of our school district, all of our bus drivers, all of our food workers, all of everybody that makes this community as special it is. I know we always address some problems here, but all in all, I love this school district and wouldn't like to be anywhere else. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you, Mr. Higgins. Dr. Graham.
Yes, hi, good evening. So I just wanted to kind of maybe reiterate, underpin some messages that we've heard so far this evening. Something that stood out to me, I'm not sure if I missed it in a report or not, but us being now the second largest district in the state with over 13,000 students. And so lots of growth, lots of responsibility, lots of resources and time and commitment from all of you at our schools and also in the community. So just drawing attention to that, as well as that Dr. Burrows mentioned earlier. And then also, I think the reiteration around the commitment to respond to the auditor recommendations, right? And so we've heard quite a bit of dialogue tonight about that as Matt actually went through the first 8. And what I heard and know to be true is that there is a commitment to already make these changes. And so hopefully as you all listen to Matt go through them, you noted that out of the 8, I believe it was 6, were already taking place. And the other 2, there are processes being developed. And so I think just to kind of reiterate our ongoing commitment, one of those is actually board training, right? And so our ongoing commitment to have this oversight. And then I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my fellow board member, Mr. Abrams, for his participation in our Financial Advisory Committee, as he serves kind of as that direct liaison for us. All of us we're not allowed to all be present at that meeting at the same time. And so I appreciate his presence and his willingness to kind of bring that information back to us and kind of be the representative of us as a board. And so the other component of that, there are areas in which we cover governance, financial reporting, and observations and recommendations. And so I implore you all to continue to listen to Matt's presentation month over month as he goes through the different steps that the district has taken or will take. And in addition to that, and take the opportunity to educate yourselves via our website. There's a lot of work that kind of goes into the development of our website, but there's a specific section, our finance section under departments, with the subgroup of Financial Advisory Committee, right? So the onus is on all of us to be informed about what's actually happening. And obviously, as a board, we serve as resources to you all. So just wanted to draw a highlight to that, to the good work that Dr. Burrows and Mrs. Stewart is doing for us in our district. Not sure how I should take the fact that I didn't realize that we were able to have lunch with our students. I'm gonna have to discuss that with my student.
No, I did not have lunch.
No, I'm talking about on Thursday, this coming Thursday,
okay, gotcha.
holiday lunch. So I'll talk to my student about that, but I look forward to seeing the team at Cantwell on Thursday for our holiday. And then lastly, just happy holidays to all of you. I know that the holiday season isn't always the happiest time for everyone, but just wanted to recognize that this is a season of Thanksgiving, and I'm positive that all of us can find something to be thankful for at this time in our lives. And so I thank you all for continuing to support us, continuing to engage with us, and continuing to be good partners, as that is our goal from a board perspective, to serve you as our community. And so with that, again, happy holidays, and thank you again for being with us.
So I've commented from time to time. One of the problems with being the last board member to comment is all your thunder gets stolen. I'm going to repeat it anyway. I wanted to also thank Norm for co-chairing the Financial Advisory Committee. He's actually been on that committee for years and has been unheralded in taking that additional time and responsibility. I thought it was noteworthy tonight that we are now officially the second largest district in the state. That wasn't the case when I first joined the board. We keep growing. Other districts are shrinking slightly or just not growing like we are. And I'll point out that even as we continue to grow, you saw the careful planning that went into the Everett Meredith Middle School. It's going to be fabulous. And you see the planning that we're doing at the Summit campus, which kind of models the Odessa campus, which has become a model for not only other districts in this state, but other districts in this region, and I'm told even in the country. And there's a lot of advantages to having a campus like that in terms of less infrastructure costs, et cetera, et cetera. And yet we're doing all this, we're growing, we're adding to our staff, we're adding numbers of students, and yet Niche, which is an independent company that ranks school districts throughout the country, you can look them up on the web, NICHE, they rank Appoquinimink as the #1 school district in Delaware, and they also rank us in the top 4% of school districts nationwide. And so I continue to think those people must know what they're talking about, right? But it's certainly an honor to be ranked highly by that independent organization. We were interviewing in an executive session tonight. We interview for principals, assistant principals, administrators, and whatnot. One of the questions asked tonight was, what are you grateful for? And maybe it's because it's Thanksgiving. I thought that was a good question to ask, and it can reveal a lot about a person, their answer. So I'll simply say, as a school board member, I am grateful for everyone in this room. I am grateful for all our teachers. I'm grateful for all our staff, all our paralegals, all our custodians, all our bus drivers, everybody who works so hard for our district. I'm also grateful for all our students and all our parents. We would not be the top-ranked school district in this state without the hard work and dedication of all of those people. So thank you very much for everything you do to make this district so special. And with that, I will end board comments, and we will move on in the agenda. Old business, revised policy 3108, holiday leaves and absences, second reading for approval. Dr. Small.
Good evening again. I don't think I actually need the podium this time, but I figured I would start the pattern just in case anybody wants to come up and use it as part of their presentation. So we are here tonight for the second reading for policy revision 3108, holidays, leaves, and absences. So tonight I will be requesting your approval of the revised policy. Next slide. So as just mentioned, policy 3108, it's a revision to the policy. Series is 3000, and this is the second reading for the date. So this first slide is to make sure that we're adding the governance reference to make the list comprehensive of the paid family medical leave addition. Next slide. This was a section that we added to the policy in order to make sure that we created clarity about who earns accrued leave. So employees accrue leave under the provisions of the negotiated agreements and state and federal laws. For the purpose of this policy, a day of leave is defined as the standard number of hours in the workday for the position the employee holds. Next slide. This shared some information as far as revisions are concerned to separate and label the sections, also to bring language current with the policy or with the practice. We were using 3 days for sick leave that could be used as personal days. Now we're up to 5 that can be used for personal days. And you can see also that illness that requires a human resource communication of a doctor's note would be at 4 days instead of at 3 days now. Next slide. This tries to make sure that the provision is comprehensive. The old policy or the policy that in its original context showed 1 to 10 years of experience, but it didn't include the 0 to 1 years of experience. So we made sure that that was a part of the policy also. Next slide. And this final change is just to make sure that we improved language flow and specificity for the type of leave, calling it vacation leave instead of annual leave in part of the policy language and vacation leave in the other part of the policy language. Questions?
Any questions for Dr. Small from the board? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve this policy as presented. I'm sorry, let me strike that. I do have a question.
Sure.
The cross-reference of holidays under provisions is made available where for the employees?
Can you repeat?
The cross-reference of the outlined district holidays that you added here in the red under provisions is, where is that information provided? Like, what's the crosswalk of the definition of district holidays?
So I'm not sure I understand the question that you're asking me.
So
I think she's asking where do we say what the district holidays
yeah,
are?
like where's the crosswalk for that?
Okay, so the district holiday crosswalk, specifically, we could use the teacher contract, the collective bargaining agreement, or the custodial contract or collective bargaining agreement. You could also use the agreed upon calendar for the school district that we use with the calendar committee.
Thank you for those resources.
You're welcome.
Second.
I struck my motion, so there's no
So,
motion on the floor.
The chair will once again entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll approve Board Policy 3108 as presented, a second reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Abrams, second by Dr. Graham to approve board policy or revised policy 3108, holiday leaves and absences as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying.
Just one comment. I just appreciate the fact that the district is bringing language current with practice. I think that's just important. And law. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that on the record. That's all.
All right. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Still hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Small.
Thank you, Dr. Cole.
All right, next on the agenda, we have the October 7, 2025 Board of Education meeting minutes for approval. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the October 7th, 2025 Board of Education meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Higgins to approve the October 7, 2025 Board of Education meeting minutes as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Nichelle. We do hear you when you vote aye, so that's good. Next on the agenda, we have the October 28, 2025 Board of Workshop minutes for approval. The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll motion to approve the 2025 board workshop minutes for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Higgins, second by Dr. Graham, third by Ms. DeWitt, to approve the October 28, 2025 Board Workshop minutes as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Oh,
I wasn't, I have to abstain.
for the record, Mr. Abrams abstained since he was not at that workshop. Okay, next on the agenda, we have revised
I'm
policy.
sorry. I have to abstain as well. I was not there.
Okay, so noted, thank you. But we still had 3 votes in favor, so that motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have revised policy 1106, board meetings. This is the first reading. Dr. Burrows.
Thank you. So I presented this policy last month, policy 1106. It's to bring our policy in line with Delaware House Bill 64. I'm just going to review any changes that were made from comments from last meeting. So on this slide, we wanted to bring clarity between there's 2 types of meeting that were designated in the law. There's the open meeting and the regular and special meetings, quorum roll call and call to vote. Both of the, you can see there, a method for the public to remotely attend and provide public comment at the school board meetings must be provided. And then, again, a method for the public to remotely attend and provide public comment at school board meetings must be provided. It's just designated between the types of meetings that we have. Next slide. There's the only real change to this is where we're updating the policy, or the policy will back for review, which will be December 2030. Next. There are no changes to this slide from last month. I'll give you a second to look over that.
You know, I had one question, and again, we may have went over this, so I'll keep it short. So we're limiting the whole public comment to 30 minutes, right? That's what, and that has been, right?
Correct.
But what we're changing is we're getting rid of the number of people that can comment, right?
Correct.
It was there, I didn't understand the thinking on that. I apologize if we went over this last month, but I don't understand why we limited that. If the math gives them 3 minutes each for 30 minutes, it's the same.
Correct. It was on the recommendation of our attorney to have a time and not on the number of people.
Okay, so that was, okay, gotcha, okay. And then this came through the district to us. We didn't workshop this and then bring it to you. Right?
Correct.
Dr. Burrow, I have a question. I know that our public comments are for people that live in the district. Is there a reason why we don't have that on here?
I'm just looking.
I think if you look at this first slide that's still up on the screen, it says district citizens may sign up to address. So by saying district citizen, it means you have to live in the district.
Okay. I mean, I read it that way, but I don't know if everyone else does. It would just seem like it would be easier just to say, citizens who live in the district can sign up to do board comment or something like that.
We can work on the language.
Okay, thank you.
Next slide, Steve. There are no changes to this as well from last meeting. All right, next slide. Again, no changes from last meeting. Yes, sir.
So I just want to highlight and reiterate, so people don't think that we're rude, because that's funny, when sometimes when my family would watch a board meeting and say, why are these people pulling their hearts out and you guys don't comment, right? It's because we can't comment. But it's great, I think, that you did add that if we're questioning the comment, we can ask for clarity, right? But that's, as policy goes, unfortunately, that's it. But to your point, we are here available afterwards if somebody wants to wait, and we want to give our time to help out on a concern. We're more than open to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's, go ahead, Dr. Burrows.
And just a note too, when someone comes if there's something that we can address, we also connect them with the person that can address the issue as well.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna offer, is that there's always an opportunity to connect with the right resource. Obviously, when you stand at that mic, you're addressing us as a board, but ultimately, we are kind of the liaison to identifying and helping support resolution, right? So it's important that we kind of understand each other's roles, if you will, right?
Right, and two, the whole point, I think the whole purpose of public comment is to address something that's on the agenda. So that's why it's important to have it when it is, and then someone in the public can, have their piece on something on the agenda, and then we will discuss the agenda as it appears on the agenda. So not commenting at the time is appropriate, because we will be commenting if all is going the way public comment is meant for. We'll be addressing it later on in the meeting anyway, right, basically.
Yes.
And the final point to make too is that, and we say this from time to time, but probably can't say it enough. I mean, all our contact information, that is all the board members' contact information, is on our website, and you can email us. If people call me at the office, I mean, I will talk to them. I can't talk to them for hours, but I mean, I've certainly spent, many a time talking to parents on the phone who have issues and try to point them in the right direction and get them hooked up or get their question or problem looked into if they're not getting satisfactory results or they feel like they're not getting satisfactory results. I mean, to a certain extent, being a school board member is also serving as an ombudsman to try to help people who are struggling to get through the system. But you don't have to come and make a board comment to get that. You're always free to contact any of us. And as I say, our contact information is on the website. So, don't feel that, oh, I've got to come and speak and be nervous. Just reach out to us before the meeting, after the meeting, at any time during the month, because that's what we're here for, to work with folks.
Okay, the last slide, there were some changes. We were asked to clarify some of the language from last meeting. In that section is there, board members may ask clarifying questions, but will not otherwise engage in a dialogue with individuals providing public comment during the meeting. Board members may communicate with the individual following the adjournment of the meeting. And back in, we're more willing to help try to address the issue if we're able to address the issue.
Yeah, I think I may have commented on that, so I appreciate that. And I think related but unrelated is that also when you're here in the gallery with us, we won't address that commentary either. So it's not like you're sitting here and you're like yelling something out to us, like we won't respond to that either. I think it's important for the public to understand that as we've had that occur a few times. And it's not that we don't want to, it's disruptive to the meeting, and we would be here all night if we start having these kind of popcorn comments pop up throughout the evening. So I just wanted to also highlight that we're certainly available after to address any of your questions from anybody in the gallery as well. Thank you, Dr. Burrows.
So this is the first reading. There's not a vote. It will be back next month for the second reading, which is where we'll vote on the policy. And if you have anything in between, we'll work on the language for the district resident as our district citizen that Ms. DeWitt pointed out.
Does anybody on the board have any other questions for Dr. Burrows? All right, thank you, Matt. Well, stay tuned. We'll talk about this next month. Next on the agenda, we have the monthly financial report for September 2025 for approval. Ms. Stewart.
Good evening, President Forston, Vice President Dr. Graham, and members of the board. I come to you tonight to present the monthly financial report for September 2025. Just to give you just a little overview of our monthly revenue and expenses. For the month of September, we received in tax receipts about $7 million in tax revenue. And for the expenditures, if you're not aware, the way that we're operating right now is making sure that we're only purchasing what we need. We're making sure that we have an eye on the expenses that are being purchased and expended throughout the district. So there is a good pulse on that, and nothing is out of the norm that should be warranted. We have brought this forth to the Financial Advisory Committee, and they have approved. And so now we're bringing it to the board for approval of the monthly financial report for September 2025. If you have any questions, I can answer.
So I just have one question. On the property tax receipts sheet, it is also showing a line for October, even though this is the September report. So is that October number not verified yet, or?
That October number is verified, but this is for September 2025. What I do is when I go to the FAC committee, if I do have the information available, I will present that information available at that time. So that October number is accurate, and I can bring that back when we present for October. Or if you want me to explain a little bit
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Ms. Stewart?
I have one. I do appreciate all the work that you've been doing. I speak volumes of the work that you're doing, and the Financial Advisory Committee. I have asked a few times if the Financial Advisory Committee could bring their questions that they bring to you in a meeting to this meeting. Otherwise, to me, it just seems like it's a little bit of an echo chamber. They're doing all great work. Last week, they're there for 3 hours, I think, right? You guys were there for a very long time. But when you come here and we look at this, I'm not an accountant, nor am I even close to an accountant. So a lot of what I rely on is the Financial Advisory Committee's feedback, right? And I was at the meeting. I try to go to the meeting, so I do hear it there. And I echo Norm is just doing a great job, and I think the Financial Committee as a whole is too. But if I wasn't at that meeting, I wouldn't know the questions they brought up. And there were several questions that they had brought up. And even though we are sharing the minutes that we're sharing are like, I think September, October, but November is not accessible for us. So if we could get the questions somehow, as some vehicle, those questions here, so we know, hey, you know what, let's keep an eye on that, let's follow up on that, to carry forward the work that you guys are all doing over there. That's the one thing. And then secondly, I know Chuck and you have worked on a salary tracker, which you do bring to the Financial Advisory Committee. I just request that maybe we can get that, even if it's just sent, put on board docs. And I know you guys, again, they're doing all volunteer work, your hands are full, and I do appreciate everything you're doing. But for me, those two pieces of information, for me personally, would be fantastic, so I can understand any lingering questions that might be out there from month to month. Cool.
So exactly what do you want? You want every question asked and every answer given?
I would like, and again, I've been to the
Be
meeting, so I
specific.
do know how it works. So you guys usually have most questions resolved by Alyssa. There are some questions that need to be followed up on.
Yes.
And if you go back to a few months ago, Alyssa actually lists the questions and then answered them. I mean, it's fantastic, right? But in real time, that was 2 months ago, right? So I would like those questions, and I think there was 3 last month that were brought up. One was about EPERS. I have them written down. And then there's 2 other ones that I would assume would be on the minutes. And they may be, we didn't release the minutes, so I don't know what the minutes are. We know the minutes of the month prior. But if they're on the minutes and we could get those minutes, I don't know if that's asking too much, but if we can get those minutes before this board meeting, I think those minutes are on, I mean, the questions are on the minutes. Am I wrong about that?
No, and unfortunately, you came on at an inopportune time. Usually, those questions that are asked in our meetings, before Ms. Stewart was here, those questions would be on a report to us for our meeting. These are the questions, these are the carryover questions,
Right.
and this is what was resolved in the meantime from the meeting that transpired to our meeting. So unfortunately, because of this transition, that hasn't happened yet, but
Right.
that was discussed.
Okay.
About how questions are going back and forth, and as they say, they are working out all these processes. But
Right, I do appreciate it. Progress was leaps and bounds. I mean, I was at the first financial advisory committee when I was on the board.
Right.
And then I've been to the subsequent since I've been on the board, and it's amazing. I think anybody here that could go, it is a public meeting, correct?
Yeah.
To go to that would give you confidence in what's going on with our
And
financial.
I didn't
school
mean to
district.
step on her toes, I'm just saying that is, yes, you're not getting that, but that is happening behind the scenes, that.
Right, but I would like to see that in front of
That
the
is
scenes.
all being worked on, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I will, next time, if it's not in play at our next board meeting,
I'll-
I will have them all, I will send them out as a report from our meeting on behalf of Mike. I'll work with him, and I'll get what you need.
Just go, thanks.
So just a point of clarity on that, are we talking about the unresolved, like the questions that are asked need follow-up, like need additional kind of investigation that Ms. Stewart or whomever will bring back to us? Or
Right,
you're
and
just-
she does. I mean,
Yeah.
Ms. Stewart does do it. In the next meeting, she'll have those questions answered next month. But I, as a board member, would just like to make sure those questions are being followed up and answered. And so far, they have been. But if they're not, I think we need to have, I would like to have those questions, and there's not many of them, on the record here.
They are answered to us, and we vote, and then next month, the answers that she gives, or the answers that are given to us, then are given to the committee next month, and are presented as they were given to us prior to our vote. But yes, you haven't seen that yet, and I know exactly.
Right. And again, yeah.
So it's there
and-
next month.
I'm not questioning that they're not getting answered. I just want to know, as a board member representing the community, that we keep an eye on the questions that may be out there.
Everything, but I will make sure next month in my presentation, I'll present a report to you before our meeting, so you have time to review it. After our meeting, I'll work with Mike, I'll get the report put together, and I'll get it to you, everybody, so.
Cool,
I'll make
thanks.
sure that happens.
No, so I need additional point of clarity. So there's 2 different types of questions, right? So there's questions that are asked and answered, and there's questions that are asked and need follow-up. Which questions are you talking
So
about
I'll
bringing
answer
back
every
to?
question that's asked. I'll document every question that's asked. I'll provide answers to every question. And normally what he's asking about is if somebody were to question an expenditure, something out of an account, they might not have the answer there, but they'll come back by our meeting and say, this item number was sponsored by the cheerleading club to go to a training facility, and that's why the expense was $13,000. It's stuff like that.
I'll leave it to you as the representative on the Financial Advisory Committee, but I think to track and trend every single question that is asked and answered in the moment is a bit much. I mean, but I'll leave it to you as our representative. I could see the questions that are asked and unanswered or need follow-up having a tracking or trending method, but those that are asked and answered in the moment and the conversation continues, it progresses, to me,
All those will be in
doesn't seem
the-
necessary,
all those
but
will
I'll
be in
leave it
the
to you
minutes.
all.
All those would be in the minutes, but I'll
Yeah.
make sure I'm.
Okay, I'll leave it to you, Mr. Abrams, I'm just,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a timing issue when you think about it, because the Financial Advisory Committee will meet, it will approve, so when it met in November, it approves the September financials because they meet the very beginning of November, so there's not time to do October. So that- And they approved the minutes from the previous meeting, but at that meeting, they were approving the August financials. So when we have our board meeting the week after the Financial Advisory Committee meeting, like we're having now, we'll have their recommendation to approve the September financials, but the minutes of that meeting won't be approved for another month. So we won't get the minutes where they approved the September financials. I'm comfortable with that unless somebody wants to give us unofficial minutes.
Right, I was only
Yes,
asking for the
the,
unresolved questions to be brought
Always
to
got-
our
and
board,
it
not
was
the minutes.
In our presentation, he would always.
Yeah, but if it's all in the minutes, I don't want
Say
to
that
create
they're
extra
there.
work for people.
He would address whatever was unresolved, whatever questions that could not be answered that night. Between the meeting of the Financial Advisory Committee and our meeting, whatever those 3 or 4 or 5 outstanding questions were, he would present us and say, these questions were unresolved, they've been satisfied, here's the answers, and we would go.
Right, and I don't even need to discuss the questions at this board meeting. If it's not work, too much work, to just have the questions brought to us, and then if I have one question on one of the several questions, I would say, hey, where are you on this? I don't want to bring them up and talk about every question at this meeting.
So let me take a stab at it next month, and you just tell me if it's too much or too little.
But that's fine.
I'll do it that way.
Right.
I'll work with.
And then with the salary tracker, that's just a matter of just attaching that to what gets sent, right? That's not any extra work, I think.
No, I wouldn't say it's extra work, but I would say given the recommendations that we brought forth to the board, given our internal audit report and then the expert reports that were given, we are in the process, and I'm working with the superintendent to try to put something in a one snapshot document.
I just
right?
know that and again, you are doing a great job, so I'm not saying this guy said this or that person knows better. I'm not saying that. But me not knowing anything, one of the first contacts I had was Chuck, and he had just said a salary tracker is one of the best ways to follow operational expenses because it's 80% of your operational expenses. So if you have a salary tracker, you can see 80% of our expenses on the operations side, and it's a great marker to see where we are on the budget. That's the only reason I asked for the salary tracker, because that was something that was actually, I think Chuck actually put it together for that purpose, for people that may not have, very versed in school financing, that can look at that one form and say, okay, this is what we have, this is how many more weeks we have left, this is what we spent, here's where we're at, right?
I think you're referring to the discretionary cash flow report. There's also that are supplemental documents that we bring forth. I understand everything that you're saying. I just think that I just need to work with the superintendent to really define what needs to be brought forth.
It's ongoing, right? It's evolving, so I'm not thinking everything's gonna be solved in a day, and I do it again, can't reiterate how much I do appreciate what you're doing and how impressive you are with what you are doing. So I'll leave it at that.
But I'll highlight again, because I highlighted last month, so I'll highlight again in the FAC, what we have been doing for the last couple of months since I've been leading that is there's been a lot of restructuring, re-implementation, understanding of what the role of the FAC is, with them looking at the methodology of how we do things. That's really has been the defining line, and education and training. This last meeting that we had with the committee, we finalized the chair and the co-chair, and I believe Mr. Abrams brought that up in board comment. So that's where we're kind of at. I have had a one-on-one conversation with Mike Jackson, who is the chair, to work on communication as well and to work closely with him so that we can get to a continued consensus. But we are working together to make sure that everyone is informed for what's going on the current month that's being brought forward. And I also want to put on record again, because even when I gave my presentation, that is a red flag for me, and this is just for me. The fact of timing and lag, and I've talked to Dr. Burrows about this, like it's November and I'm bringing September, and to President Forston's point, the October, I try to keep up with those things. I think that is frustrating for myself, so I know it has to be frustrating for the community and the district because we're on this time lag, and there's a lot that can go on in a month's time between September and even now. So please feel free to reach out to the superintendent, and we'll keep you updated and informed, and we'll work to do and bring you the documentation that you are
Right, and in
requesting.
that vein, that's why I thought it important to have the current questions brought to the board, since it can change in an instant, not the questions from a month and a half ago, which you already resolved. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding the monthly financial report? All right, I think we still need a motion to approve it.
Mr. President, I move to approve the monthly financial report for September 2025 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Higgins to approve the monthly financial report for September 2025 as presented and as recommended by the Financial Advisory Committee. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have the internal accounts report for September 2025. Ms. Stewart.
All right, so I am bringing this forth to request approval of the internal accounts report for September 2025. Currently, our internal accounts report is just a reconciliation of all 21 schools and school funds online. That is the software that we use to house all the receipts and the disbursements that run out of our schools. Mainly when Financial Advisory Committee is reviewing this, we're reviewing this to ensure that what the reconciliation is tying back to the bank. When they are reviewing this report, sometimes they do have questions about what a specific expense was charged. There was a question about a $4,200 charge and I believe like a $6,000 charge. Both was related to sports. One was, I believe the $4,200 was cheerleading. I can't remember on top of my head what the $6,000 one, but we did address that accordingly when those questions were brought forth with the internal accounts report. So the Financial Advisory Committee did approve internal accounts report and bring it to the board for approval.
Mr. President, I move to approve the I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any questions?
No. Let's have a motion. In theory, we should have a motion first.
I move to approve the internal accounts report for September 2025 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Abrams to approve the internal accounts report for September 2025 as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And next on the agenda, we have the class size waivers for approval. Dr. Small.
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Nichelle.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
I feel like I should tell like a dad joke.
If it doesn't work, you have to give a report.
Like the podium better? All right, I'm going podium. Put my folders on the podium. There we go. All right, so we have the class size waiver request. So as it states request, which means I'm going to be requesting approval of the board tonight. So a summary, Delaware Code states that there's a 22-to-1 maximum student to teacher ratio for students that are in K through 3 classrooms as of the last day of October. This is applicable to core academic subject classrooms, and the school board can waive the requirement from subsection A of section 1705 at a public meeting. Next slide. So here's the data overview, or the start to the data overview. As of 9/30/2025, which is our unit count date, there were 12,958 students enrolled. On 10/31/25, which is the last day of October, there were 13,097. That's a growth of 139 students. And on September 30th, we were looking for 1 class size waiver. And as of tonight, we're looking for 2.
Real quick, just doing the math, it seems that you guys, the district, us, whoever, you do account for a large amount of increase in class sizes, so you don't max out these classes normally at the beginning of the year, right?
That's correct.
Because you have 139 extra kids that signed in or enrolled, and you only need 3 waivers right now for 3 kids, correct?
2.
Oh, 2 kids, well, even better. So, just so my math is right, you guys, when you do this, right, you account for that buffer.
Yes, and the 139 students is spread amongst all the grades, not just K through 3.
2 waivers, 3 students.
Correct. Right.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, okay,
okay.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Next slide, Steve. Continuing with the data overview, the number of schools that have grades K through 3, or at least one of those grades, would be 13. The number of classrooms would be 205, my apologies. It should not say 204, but 205. And the number of classrooms requiring a waiver request would be 2. Next slide. So I stand corrected. It actually is 204, not 205. So here's a 7-year historical look back at the data for the class size waivers per year, the number of classrooms and the number of class size waivers. And as you can see, the 204 for 2025, which represents the 2 classroom waivers that or class size waivers that we're looking for the 204 classrooms. Next slide. Here's a breakdown of the 2 classrooms. One is in CLEC, or Cedar Lane Early Childhood Center. The number of students over the ratio will be 1 for classroom number 123, which is a kindergarten classroom. And for Townsend Elementary School, classroom 002, grade 3, number of students over the ratio will be 2. Questions?
One question.
Sure.
Again, excuse dumb questions, but, so grade 3 is getting 2 students, right?
There are 2 students over the mark.
Right. And they're both going to 1 classroom.
Correct.
Is that because the other classrooms already have waivers, or is there a different reason that I'm not picking up?
So I think the best answer that I can give you to that is that if those 2 students were in the classroom before the class size waiver was needed, so let's just say there were 19 students in the classroom, and then an influx of students came to the school, they may have been put in classrooms, and nobody wants to be the student or the family that has to move their child to another classroom.
Okay,
As a
gotcha.
result,
Gotcha.
once they make it into that classroom, they stay there.
Right. So therefore, that prevents that from happening. That scenario. Not to
Yes.
say that's exactly what happened, but that could be a good reason why it happened.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Other questions?
Hearing no further questions, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the class size waiver as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Abrams, second by Dr. Graham to approve the class size waiver as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have overnight field trips for approval. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, so let me start with the trips that are under our list for final approval, which include trip ID 10302, trip ID 10360, trip ID 10575, trip ID 10766, and then additional trip ID 11116 for initial approval. So I present all of those overnight field trips for approval.
I second that.
Do you want to recite the numbers?
No, I don't have the paper in front of me.
Okay.
He just needs to second the motion. He doesn't have to say anything more than that. So, motion by Dr. Graham to approve for final approval trip IDs 10302, 10360, 10575, and 10766, and to give preliminary approval to trip ID 1116. Any questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have construction contracts for approval, and I know we've got at least one because we got a preview of it from Mr. Hopkins.
All right, we took bids for contract 31A for the site work over at Summit Campus. We brought the bids in, reviewed the contractor. Everything is in good standing. We came in slightly under budget with that bid. So with that, we're recommending this contractor for approval and seeking approval.
And that's contract 31A, is that?
31A for the site work.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the construction contract as presented.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Abrams to approve construction contract 31A, the site work at the Summit campus as presented and as recommended by Mr. Hopkins. I'm pleased to hear that it came in slightly under our projected budget. Any further questions, comments, or discussion on the motion? Mr. Higgins.
I just wanted to comment that I do appreciate the mindset of construction projects. Any hurdles or any obstacles, you just have to go through because every day costs more money. So I appreciate where you're at and understand where you're at and just appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. All right, item I was deleted. There are no change orders. That brings us to our personnel report for approval. Dr. Small.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
The personnel report for the November board meeting has been presented for your approval. We are asking for your approval tonight along with the names from executive session.
Mr. President, I move to approve the personnel report as presented.
I'll second that.
A motion by Dr. Graham, second by Mr. Higgins to approve the personnel report as presented. Let me clarify, with the addition from executive session,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So with the, no, I'm just clarifying that that was included in your motion. Okay, and Mr. Higgins, you agree, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that clarification, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, establishment of meeting dates. The Financial Advisory Committee will be meeting on Tuesday, December 9 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom here. And our next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, December 16th, which technically is, again, the third Tuesday, just so we're keeping track of these things. And that will also be in this boardroom here at 7 o'clock. With those observations, we are adjourned. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Good night.